Unit 6. Focus on listening 2. The right to roam. You will hear part of a seminar in which a student called Lisa discusses the problems of keeping large animals in captivity. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 3.
Is everyone here now? Lisa, Jamie, Maria? Good. Well, we're continuing the module on animal rights. And I think, Lisa, you're going to talk to us about your assignment, right?
Yes.
And what topic have you chosen?
The problems of keeping large animals in zoos.
Fine. And where did you get your information?
Partly from an article I read about some research they've done, and also from the web.
Okay. And do you know who carried out the research?
Yes, the research was done by Oxford University. I've got the researchers' actual names here somewhere.
Don't worry about names now, but you'll need to mention them when you write up your assignment. And the other thing you should mention, if possible, is where the results of this research were published. Do you know that?
Oh, yes. It was in a scientific journal called Nature, I think. Let me just check. Yes, that's right. Nature.
Fine. Carry on.
Okay, well, we all know that there are problems with keeping large animals in zoos. When you put lions or tigers, for example, into tiny cages, they often don't breed successfully. That's because of stress. Because they're used to having large areas to wander around in. But different animals need different amounts of territory, and that's what this research looked at.
Now listen and answer questions 4 to 10.
You say different animals need different amounts of territory. Could you give us some specific examples, Lisa?
Yes, I've got information about 4 animals. That's the polar bear, lion, grizzly bear, and snow leopard. The scientists looked at the average territory these animals had in the wild, and the results were pretty amazing. For example, it turned out that a polar bear has an average territory of around 79,000 square kilometers.
Did you say 79,000?
Yes, that's what the report says.
Wow.
And the second thing the study looked at was the minimum territory that could support these animals. The minimum territory for a polar bear is still enormous. It's 1,200 square kilometers. On the other hand, grizzly bears only need a minimum territory of 0.5 of a square kilometer, which means they're more likely to do well in a zoo.
Could you repeat that figure, Lisa?
Yep, 0.5 of a square kilometer, okay?
Thanks.
The third thing the scientists looked at was the average distance an animal travels in a day. And here, it's the lion that comes top. A lion travels 11 kilometers a day, and a polar bear 8.8. By contrast, grizzly bears only cover about 1.5 kilometers, and snow leopards slightly less. The final thing in the study was the infant mortality rate. That is, how many young animals die before they're, 30 days old, I think it is. Anyway, the polar bear has a really high infant mortality rate. It's 65%, which is highest of all. Snow leopards do better, with a rate of 14.3%. But grizzly bears do best of all, with 0% infant mortality.
Is that it?
Yes, that's as far as I've got.
Fine. Very interesting. But can you draw any conclusions yet?
Yes, well, basically, I think zoos need to decide what kind of animals they should keep. If they're a small city zoo, for example, they should forget about lions because they need plenty of space. And I'm not sure anyone should keep polar bears at all.